I'm a little bit disheartened to see that we still have this daylight wasting idea here in 2022. Daylight savings time, I mean. And I would have thought the pandemic would have been a great opportunity to finally end this draconian practice. Now that a lot, or at least last year and 2 years ago, a lot of people were working remotely anyway. There were a lot of things that really didn't have a timetable. And I really thought we missed the opportunity. I remember thinking back in September of 2020, or maybe March of 2021, oh, finally, maybe we might not change the time. And to my dismay, we missed the opportunity. But I want to say that daylight savings time wasn't the only missed opportunity of this pandemic. I've never really liked daylight savings time, but I hated it even more 4 years ago after a bad experience that I had. I do private tutoring, and I had picked up this client in the winter of, it might have been 18 or 19, and at the time, I was tutoring him, it was kind of dark and gloomy. This is winter time, and I thought, well, at least I'm not really giving up anything, right? But then we shifted our clock, and now all of a sudden, instead of giving up like an hour of gloomy weather after work, now I'm giving up an hour of good weather, and this didn't seem like it was worth it anymore. I mean, I have kind of a situation like that today, but at least I'm getting paid a whole lot better, and I like these students a whole lot better. And not to mention, at the time I had a girlfriend, right? Right now I have 8 billion of them, so it doesn't seem to bother me anymore. But so ever since that year, I've really hated daylight savings time. And when the pandemic hit, I thought, okay, this is a great time to end it. And unfortunately, we let so many opportunities slip through our fingers, right? But that's not the only opportunity that I feel has been missed during this whole time. I think during the pandemic, it could have been a good time to start accepting people for who they are, right? Not everybody recharges in the same way. And a lot of people recharged by staying home during the pandemic, right? A lot of people recharged by writing some new computer games. And I think the same can be said outside of the pandemic too, right? I get judged a lot by how I recharge myself, including the fact that I like to have 8 billion partners instead of one, right? The fact that I take vacations very differently than a lot of my peers. Very judgmental. The fact that I eat different foods than a lot of my peers. I would have thought the pandemic would be a great time to end that practice, but unfortunately, again, we let that opportunity slip right through our fingers, right? I would have thought there's a lot of discussion, especially now with the Great Resignation going on, a lot of discussions about better working conditions, including longer weekends. I like the idea of a 3-day weekend, but I also like working 5 days. I don't know why we can't have both. I've been suggesting this for 20 years now, actually. We could have a 5-day weekday and still have a 3-day weekend. There's nothing stopping us from doing that, except that people are very close-minded. Now, I would have thought when we were working remotely and we didn't travel a whole lot, we didn't have very much of a timetable, that would have been the perfect time to introduce an idea like this, right? Unfortunately, it slipped right through our fingers because we were too busy arguing about toilet paper and all that, right? Anyway, if you're watching this video during the next pandemic, I hope you give this some thought and don't let it slip through your fingers again.